Want to speak real Hungarian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at HungarianPod101.com. You are at a bus terminal where you're attempting to buy a ticket from a ticket counter. There are 4 different counters. Which counter should you line up at to go to the south side of the city? Which counter should you line up at to go to the south side of the city? The third counter is the counter for bus tickets that go to the south side of the city.
A város déli része felé.
You are at a bus terminal where you've just bought a long-distance ticket. Which row and seat number are you in? Which row and seat number are you in? The ticket says that you're in the 8th row in seat C.
8. sor, C hely.
You are at a bus terminal where you're reading the schedule for long-distance buses. On which days are there no buses running? On which days are there no buses running? There are no buses running on public holidays and the 3rd Sunday of every month.
Ünnepnapokon, minden hónap 3. vasárnapján.
You are at a bus stop where you're waiting for the 301 bus. There is a notice posted on the bus timetable. What does the notice say? What does the notice say? The notice reads, "The 301 bus does not stop here."
A 301-es busz itt nem áll meg.
You just got off a bus at a bus terminal and you're looking to catch a taxi. Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? You should take the east exit in order to get to the taxi rank.
Keleti kijárat.
Want to speak real Hungarian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at HungarianPod101.com.
Can you really learn a new language all alone? Learning a language without traditional classroom instruction may seem quite daunting at first. What if you run into questions? How do you stay on track and motivated to achieve your goals? Don't worry. Not only is it possible to learn any language without traditional classroom instruction, we have created an advanced and extensive online language learning system to help you do just that. It's designed to help you learn a language on your own and is faster, more convenient, and less expensive than traditional classroom options. Here are 3 reasons to learn a language alone. Number 1, learn at your own pace and on your own schedule. In today's fast-paced world, there isn't always time for traditional classroom instruction. But when you learn alone, you can study anywhere and anytime that suits your schedule best. It makes it far easier to actually reach your goal of learning and mastering the language. Number 2, learning a language on your own can reduce stress and anxiety. In traditional classroom settings, there are pop quizzes, tests, and presentations in front of classmates. While it's valuable to learn public speaking skills and to be able to perform under pressure, for some people, these classroom pressures are a big hurdle for their language learning dreams. Learning alone, however, removes these stressors. Learning outside of a traditional classroom setting can help reduce some of the stress you may feel, and you can work towards your goals all on your own. Number 3, learning alone can help improve cognitive function. While classroom settings often require learners to spend lots of time memorizing information and following instructions, studying a language on your own requires you to problem solve so that you can self-teach and hit your goals. You'll also need to be strict with yourself and stick to a regular study schedule. So yes, in some ways, learning a language on your own can be more challenging than learning in a traditional classroom setting. But teaching yourself a language pays dividends throughout life. In addition to learning a language, you'll also learn time management and problem-solving skills. These are skills that will aid you when social and professional opportunities arise. So, how do you actually learn a language on your own? Number 1, access our huge collection of audio and video lessons. Ideally, you want audio and/or video lessons that teach vocabulary, grammar, and provide actual conversations and dialogue in your target language to help you with real pronunciation. We have hundreds of hours of HD audio and video lessons on our website, created by professional teachers and actors to help you achieve perfect pronunciation. Plus, all lessons can be accessed 24/7 via any device with internet access. Number 2, learning paths with courses based upon your exact needs and goals. Simply tell us your goals and we will identify the best courses and study plan to help you reach them in the shortest time possible. Even though you are technically learning a language on your own, our team is always here to help and make sure you reach your goals fast. Number 3, use advanced learning tools. When you have the right tools and learning resources, it's actually easy to teach yourself a language. Over the last 10 years, we've developed, tested, and refined more than 20 advanced learning tools. These tools aim to boost retention and reduce learning time. Eliminate stress and start learning at your own pace, in bed, your car, or wherever you have a few spare minutes. Our learning resources and tools are designed to help you get to the next level in the fastest, easiest, and most fun way. Just click the link in the description to sign up for a free lifetime account. So if you want to learn language anytime, anywhere, sign up for a free lifetime account by clicking the link in the description. Sign up takes less than 30 seconds. Click the link in the description and start learning right away. I'll see you there. Bye!
Hi, I'm Livia. Nice to meet you. In this series, we are going to learn basic Hungarian expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Hungarian. There are only 2 sentences you need to do it, but first, it is important to clarify that in Hungarian there's a difference between the formal and the informal language. Let's first see how Hungarian people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Szia, Lívia vagyok. Örvendek. Hi, I'm Lívia. Nice to meet you. Szia, Lívia vagyok. Örvendek. Start by saying szia. Then say your name and then vagyok. Szia, Lívia vagyok. Finally say örvendek. Szia, Lívia vagyok. Örvendek. And now, let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Jó napot kívánok! Szöllősi Lívia vagyok. Örvendek. Good day. I'm Lívia Szöllősi. Nice to meet you. Jó napot kívánok! Szöllősi Lívia vagyok. Örvendek. So, what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at these together. Szia has been substituted with the formal greeting Jó napot kívánok, Hungarian for good day. Lívia vagyok has not been changed. Vagyok stands in both cases for I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, we also say our last name, so I said Szöllősi Lívia. Here, you would say your full name. Note that for Hungarian people, family names come first, followed by the given name. However, you don't have to reverse your name when introducing yourself. You can say örvendek in both situations. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in Hungarian is Szia, Lívia vagyok. Örvendek. The formal way to introduce yourself is Jó napot kívánok. Szöllősi Lívia vagyok. Örvendek. And now it's time for Lívia's tips. When you introduce yourself, it's a good habit to shake hands. Jó napot kívánok is a very formal expression. Sometimes people just say jó napot when greeting each other. Both are polite, so you don't have to worry about making a mistake. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Hungarian. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Készen álltok? Are you ready? Akkor kezdjük. So let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It's just one word. Köszönöm. Köszönöm. Köszönöm means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add szépen. Köszönöm szépen. Köszönöm szépen. Köszönöm szépen is like saying thank you kindly. During the last lesson, we mentioned both the informal and the formal way of speaking Hungarian. Köszönöm is the more formal way to thank someone. If you want to be more casual, there's another phrase you should use. Köszi. Köszi. Köszi is an abbreviation of köszönöm, meaning thanks. You would use this phrase when talking to friends. How do you answer? It's easy. There are basically two different ways to do it. The first is nincs mit. Nincs mit. Nincs mit literally means nothing to thank for, but it is the equivalent of you are welcome. The other way to say you are welcome is the expression szívesen. Szívesen. Literally, this phrase means kindly, but it has become a common and polite way to respond to someone thanking you. So when someone says köszönöm to you, simply reply with nincs mit or szívesen. Now it's time for Lívia's tips. You can use both köszönöm and köszönöm szépen in informal situations, but be careful about köszi since it is really casual. Don't use it with superiors or people you have just met. In this lesson, we will learn some of the most common greetings used in Hungary. Készen álltok? Are you ready? Akkor kezdjük. So let's start. The most commonly used informal greeting is szia. Szia. Szia means hi, hello, or goodbye. We use it when we meet, but also when we leave. We should only use this greeting with friends or relatives. If there are more people present, you should use sziasztok, which basically means hi guys. Now let's continue by discussing the formal way to greet people. Jó napot. jó napot. Literally, jó napot means good day. In the morning, we say jó reggelt, which means good morning. Jó reggelt. During the evening, we say jó estét. Jó estét. Este is Hungarian for evening, but when saying good evening, you have to say estét. When saying goodbye in formal situations, Hungarian people use viszontlátásra. Viszontlátásra. Viszontlátásra means goodbye. You can also use its shorter form, viszlát, which is less formal. You can say this to a shop assistant, for example. With your friends, you should use szia when speaking to one person, or sziasztok when there are more people present. Szia. Sziasztok. Now you can greet people in many different ways in Hungarian. Let's look at them all again. When meeting older people or someone we don't know, jó napot. When living in a formal situation, viszontlátásra. When living in an informal situation, viszlát or szia. It's easy, isn't it? And now it's time for Livia's tips. In formal situations, Hungarian people commonly greet each other by shaking hands. Girls greet their friends, including guys, with a kiss on both cheeks. Girls, don't be afraid to try it with your Hungarian friends. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Hungarian. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you are asking it in Hungarian, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you are saying, even if their answer is no. Here's the informal way to say it. Beszélsz angolul? Beszélsz angolul? Beszél means to speak. In Hungarian, verbs change depending on the active voice. You don't have to say the pronoun here. It is already built into the verb. Beszélsz means do you speak? Angolul literally means in English, with angol meaning the English language. Beszélsz angolul? We are now going to make this sentence formal. First, we need to use the formal version of you, which is ön. In this case, you have to include the word in the sentence. Also, we will have to conjugate the verb beszél differently. Beszél ön angolul? Beszél ön angolul? Adding elnézést, excuse me, the sentence becomes even more polite. Elnézést, beszél ön angolul? Elnézést, beszél ön angolul? The responses you will receive could be one of these three. Igen. Yes. Igen. Egy kicsit. A little. Egy kicsit. Nem beszélek angolul. No, I don't speak English. Nem beszélek angolul. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say nem before the verb beszél. Notice also that the verb beszélek is slightly different than beszél. Remember, the verb changes depending on the active voice. Beszélek indicates the first person pronoun, meaning I speak. Adding nem in front of it changes the meaning to I don't speak. Now it's time for Livia's tips. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Hungarian people study other languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute angolul with olaszul for Italian, oroszul for Russian, spanyolul for Spanish, németül for German. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase elnézést, beszél ön angolul? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word elnézést, which means excuse me in formal Hungarian. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use elnézést and other words when apologizing in Hungarian. We should use elnézést in formal situations, such as when we are ordering something in bars or restaurants. For example, elnézést, egy kávét kérek. Excuse me, a coffee please. Elnézést, egy kávét kérek. We can also use it when asking a question. Elnézést, merre van a vár? Excuse me, where is the castle? Elnézést, merre van a vár? Sometimes we also hear people say bocsánat, which basically means the same thing as elnézést and can also be used to get somebody's attention. Bocsánat. We can also use the phrase ne haragudjon. You might hear this phrase translated as forgive me in English, but it literally means please don't be angry. Since it's quite formal, it's better to simply use elnézést instead. All of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is sajnálom. It means I am sorry and can be used in both formal and informal situations. Sajnálom. And now it's time for Livia's tips. Please remember that in Hungary, if you accidentally bump into someone, you can use both elnézést and bocsánat, meaning excuse me.
When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1, optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends, but you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. Give it a try now. Sign up for your account. Just click the link in the description.
Egy nő megkér valamire egy eladót a könyvesboltban. Melyik könyvet akarta megnézni a nő?
Elnézést! Meg szeretnék nézni egy könyvet azon a polcon.
Melyik könyvet szeretné?
Az autókról szóló könyvet.
Egy pillanat, kérem. Ez az?
Pontosan.
Parancsoljon! Melyik könyvet akarta megnézni a nő? Egy nő megkér valamire egy eladót a könyvesboltban. Melyik könyvet akarta megnézni a nő?
Elnézést! Meg szeretnék nézni egy könyvet azon a polcon.
Melyik könyvet szeretné?
Az autókról szóló könyvet.
Egy pillanat, kérem. Ez az?
Pontosan.
Parancsoljon! Egy férfi és egy nő néznek egy étlapot egy étteremben. Mit rendelt a férfi? Mit szeretnél rendelni?
Ez a pizza finomnak néz ki. Ezt kérek.
Én tegnap ettem pizzát, úgyhogy...
Akkor mit szólsz ehhez a hamburgerhez?
Jól hangzik, ezt kérek. Mit rendelt a férfi? Egy férfi és egy nő néznek egy étlapot egy étteremben. Mit rendelt a férfi? Mit szeretnél rendelni?
Ez a pizza finomnak néz ki. Ezt kérek.
Én tegnap ettem pizzát, úgyhogy...
Akkor mit szólsz ehhez a hamburgerhez?
Jól hangzik, ezt kérek. Egy férfi egy klinikával beszél telefonon. Hány óráig kell a férfinek odaérnie?
Halló, miben segíthetek?
Meddig vannak nyitva ma?
6 óráig. De 5:30 előtt jöjjön, kérem.
Rendben. Hány óráig kell a férfinek odaérnie? Egy férfi egy klinikával beszél telefonon. Hány óráig kell a férfinek odaérnie?
Halló, miben segíthetek?
Meddig vannak nyitva ma?
6 óráig. De 5:30 előtt jöjjön, kérem.
Rendben. Egy fiú a naplóját olvassa. Mit csinált a fiú legelőször aznap? Ma nagyon jó idő volt. Ezen a délutánon elmentem egy uszodába, és este elmentem megnézni egy filmet. Reggel még tanultam is. Ez egy nagyon jó nap volt. Mit csinált a fiú legelőször aznap? Egy fiú a naplóját olvassa. Mit csinált a fiú legelőször aznap? Ma nagyon jó idő volt. Ezen a délutánon elmentem egy uszodába, és este elmentem megnézni egy filmet. Reggel még tanultam is. Ez egy nagyon jó nap volt. Egy nő és egy férfi egy fényképet néz. Melyik fényképet nézik?
Ez a fiad foci csapatának a fényképe, ugye? Melyik a te fiad?
Ez az.
Ó, ő a legmagasabb a csapatban.
Magasabb nálam. Melyik fényképet nézik? Egy nő és egy férfi egy fényképet néz. Melyik fényképet nézik?
Ez a fiad foci csapatának a fényképe, ugye? Melyik a te fiad?
Ez az.
Ó, ő a legmagasabb a csapatban.
Magasabb nálam.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.